Hold the line, fellas. The plan is working.
You want to know how I know times are tough? It's not gas prices, it's not grocery prices, it's not rent. I went to the plasma donation center today to donate plasma, and it's just straight baddies there. Just straight baddies. They're not at the club. They're donating plasma. This is a bad sign.
For y'all, but I think it's a good sign for men because a lot of these so-called baddies have been running around here talking real crazy, talking about they need $500 dates and a man has to pay this and pay that and buy him a purse, buy him shoes. And what this is telling me is that the men ain't doing it, and I'm loving it. Now, of course, if one of us men walked in that room, we would see that those women aren't baddies, like she said. But the point is, these women are out here struggling and they're gonna have to figure it out on their own because a lot of men are falling back. Of course, you're still gonna have your everyday simps out there still taking care of some of these women, but this is making me feel a lot better about what we got going on. The men got these women out here giving blood to pay their bills, and the crazy part is I think this is about to get a lot worse because a lot of these jobs are about to start disappearing. On top of the fact that men are getting smarter, you're gonna start seeing a lot more of these so-called baddies willing to give anything away for a couple of dollars. I can see it now. She's standing in that man's room talking about how she got paid $20,000 for the buns in Dubai and another $10,000 for the buns in Bali, $30,000 for the buns on a yacht in Italy, and that dude just gonna look at her like,
in Philadelphia, it's worth $50.
Just give me the money.
This video has been making its rounds on social media, and I think it's pretty interesting. Y'all check this out.
You got a boyfriend or something?
Okay, that's enough. No, that's enough. You need to leave your beat.
What you mean?
What are you doing?
I'm just asking for a number.
No, she's not giving it to you. If she's giving it to you,
Was I talking to you?
I don't care. You need to leave your beat.
You know, you need my own business.
I don't care.
You need my own
I don't
business.
care.
You need my own business.
Go.
I wasn't talking to you. Get out of my face.
You need to leave your beat.
Nah, I wasn't talking to you.
What are you doing?
I wasn't talking to you.
Okay.
Why? You want my number or something?
Yeah, we can take it outside.
Oh, you want my number?
No, we can take this outside.
What you mean?
Better leave your beat.
What you mean take it outside? Where's your pants?
Where's yours? Clearly not here. Where's your dad?
What do you mean? I don't have one.
Yeah, that's what I'm fucking saying. I know that. You better leave your beat.
What the fuck you mean? You know that?
Hey, y'all better did.
No wonder why boys don't approach girls anymore. Jeez, in my generation, we were nice.
I'm saying, right?
No, I'm saying you're right. I'm defending them.
I'm saying. She said I right.
Oh, she's defending them?
Yeah.
What?
I was approaching. I was talking to her.
This is the fourth.
It's okay. Relax. He's not bothering nobody. He's kidding with them. Relax.
Yeah.
Relax. It's okay. Don't even
It's all right,
waste your
man.
time in front of your girls.
Thank you.
She's gonna come over to you and cut the soda home.
I know, right? It's so crazy.
The girls wouldn't want to get slapped.
You know what's so funny about this video? I was that little boy. That was me. When I was young like that, I would see some pretty girl in the mall, I would go over and I start talking to her. The only difference between me and him is he had a cell phone in his hand and I had a pen and a piece of paper in my pocket. That's what we did. So for that lady to jump in there when that man was just trying to talk to her, it's crazy to me. I love the fact that the other lady jumped in and said something because she's absolutely correct. This is why a lot of men stopped doing it. In my generation, that was the norm. There was no other options. There was no dating apps or anything like that. I've said before, we didn't have Tinder, we had Tapper. You went over there and you tapped her on the shoulder. That was the only option we had in my generation. So if you are making him feel like he's doing something wrong, what do you think is going to happen to him when he gets older? And then that same lady will be on TikTok complaining about men not approaching anymore. Now, I didn't hear the whole conversation, but let's just say he did ask her multiple questions. It sounds to me like he was trying to get some clarification. The question I heard, he asked, did she have a boyfriend? So apparently he was unclear about that. All I'm saying is in that situation, you let them work it out. If he was being aggressive, raising his voice, grabbing her, yes, that's when you jump in there. Outside of that, you let them deal with that. It wasn't like she was by herself, she was there with her friend. They were fine. And I know somebody's thinking, well, maybe she heard something or she saw something that we just don't know about. Okay, well, the other lady was there too, and she was totally fine with it. So there's that. And I know these two girls look young, but the reason why I believe this boy isn't older is because I'm pretty sure that would have been the first thing that lady said. One of those ladies in the video would have brought that up. That's why they were asking about parents. Where are your parents? Parents wouldn't have been in that conversation if that was a grown man. And I don't think a grown man would record himself hitting on little kids and then post it online. So I'm assuming this boy is a teenager. That's why I'm not addressing the age issue. And I really do hate how some of you women are. We can handle this outside. Really, lady? Really? So you want to take a little teenage boy outside? You know that little boy would have beat the brakes off you, right? You do know that. It's just the mindset is crazy to me of some of these women. But kudos to the lady who worked in the mall, who jumped in there and said what she said, because she was absolutely correct. This is exactly why men don't want to do it anymore. They were in the food court of a shopping mall, and the boy was recording the whole conversation. That little boy wasn't about to do anything to that little girl outside of trying to be her boyfriend. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
I ain't gonna hold you, but the worst feeling as a man is realizing that you took way more disrespect than you normally would have just because you wanted a family or to keep your family together.
And the sad part is there are men out there stuck in relationships or in marriages right now with a woman just like this, disrespectful. She's saying and doing whatever she wants to do because she believes she has that man where she wants him. I've been in a situation where I've been disrespected by my girl before, and every time I think about it, I get disgusted because that'll never happen again. But that was just a girlfriend with no kids involved. But if you got your kids, your house, your whole life tied up into one woman, it is a whole different story. So I feel for them dudes, and I understand exactly what this man is saying right now.
If females did not like you as a teenager, they will never like you. You know, you hear a lot of guys saying that dudes need to hit the gym, that dudes need to get in shape and da-da-da-da-da. But my question is, if you a dude who never had females liking you from a young age, nothing you do is going to work. Nothing you do is going to work. I mean, if females did not like you at 15, what make you think they're going to like you at 20?
I have no idea what this dude is talking about. Not only does that happen, that is what happens for most men. The girls are not really feeling them when they're younger, and as they get older, start getting their life together, making a little more money, getting in shape, that's when the girls start liking them. So I have no idea what he's talking about. Me at 15 and me at 30 were two different people, not even in the same ballpark. And the same girls who didn't want me at 15 did want me when I was 30. So I have no idea what you're talking about. Plus, I hit my growth spurt around 15, 16 years old. I went from like 5'8" to over 6 feet tall. So my body looked weird, I looked weird. So comparing a 15-year-old to a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old is crazy to me. I believe you're just projecting how you feel about yourself. You probably didn't make the changes or do the things you need to do to change yourself. So it's easier to just say it doesn't work instead of getting out there and really putting in that effort to give it a try. And I believe that to be true because listen to how he talks about himself.
I knew from the time I was an adolescent that I was destined for a life of hell. I knew that nothing was never going to work out for me. I was never going to be a boss. I was never going to be a dude that women want. I knew from the time I was young, I was destined for hell. And I'm sure a lot of guys knew they were destined for hell. You know, I predicted my future.
That part I agree with. I believe he did predict his future, and that's why he gave up before he ever gave it a chance. That is a very negative way to approach life. I understand that a lot of people deal with that when they're younger, but coming online telling other young men that they don't have a chance or they don't have any hope, that ain't cool. Because the fact is, if you put that effort in, you go to the gym, you change your life around, your life don't have to be hell. So to me, I think this dude is way off. And to the young men out there, please don't listen to this. If the girls ain't checking for you, focus on finding out who you are, find your purpose, work on your body, work on getting your education, work on getting a trade, building a business, and by the time you're 30 years old, you'll be in a whole different place. Matter of fact, it's actually better for a lot of men to stay away from women when they're younger so they don't make a mistake like having a baby or getting trapped with the wrong girl, and now you're dealing with divorce, child support, alimony payments. It is better in most situations to just focus on yourself until you do all of those things I just talked about, because this way you won't have anything to distract you. So yeah, I'm not sure what this guy is talking about, but please ignore him because none of that is true. That is his life. That is his situation. It does not have to be yours. And to be honest with you, this applies to the guys in their 20s and 30s as well. Just because you haven't figured it out yet doesn't mean you're not going to figure it out. Most men don't hit their financial peak until they're in their 50s, late 40s or 50s. So just because you're 31 and you haven't figured out life yet doesn't mean you won't. Just do the work and you'll be just fine. Please like the video and leave a comment. I love listening to what you guys have to say. And don't forget to hit that hype button because it really helps me out with the algorithm and I really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.